Yo, it's Zero, and this is What If Naruto Was a Demon, the full movie. This will be one of those What If series that I do in one shot. I've had this idea in my head for a while, so I just wanted to see how the story would go and how it would play out. And since Demon Slayer Season 2 has already started, I feel like this is the perfect time for me to do this type of series. Anyway, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you're new. All the links to my Discord and second channel and music are down below in the description. And without any more wait, let's get started.
Let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick. I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers. And you know 30K got the mop. Sacked up, yeah, I got them knots. Act up, get your body in a box. Told the demon, you know how.
Enter the origin. So, in order for this what if to work, Naruto will first have to get this demonic power. And if you've read all the Demon Slayer manga, you know exactly how I'm about to do it. If you don't want to be spoiled, well, please skip ahead a little in the video. Actually, I'll be putting timestamps on this video, so you can just scroll to the next part, which will most likely be the bell test or further on in the series. So, please make sure to like this video. Alright, so, let's see. We'll start with the 5-year-old Naruto, and the season will be winter. As it snowed within the Leaf Village, Naruto would sneeze while sitting inside his apartment. He would wipe his nose, thinking it was just because of the snow, but when he woke up the next day, he felt horrible. So much so that he couldn't even get out of bed. Luckily for him, the next day was the day that Hiruzen would bring the money to him. As the Hokage walked in the small apartment, he spoke. "Hey Naruto, here's this month's rent." Naruto, where are you?" "I'm over here," a weak voice would say, as Hiruzen turned to see a very pale Naruto who looked horribly sick. "Naruto, are you okay?" Hiruzen ran out of the room and brought back 2 doctors. After about an hour of examination, the doctor stepped outside with the Hokage, telling him that Naruto had an unknown disease, and this disease had no cure. So, they'll just have to wait it out. Hopefully the 9 tails within him can heal its host before it's too late. Hiruzen sighs and goes back in, thanking the doctors for all that they have done. Naruto smiled at the Hokage. "Will I get better soon?" He started coughing, and Hiruzen would say, "Of course, Naruto. All you have to do is make sure you eat and drink lots of water." Naruto smiled, closing his eyes, and months would go by as Naruto's condition would only get worse. It got to the point where Hiruzen was thinking of finding another Jinchuriki for the 9 tails. One night, though, as Naruto was coughing, he heard someone at the door. Naruto weakly told them to come in, and it was a very short old man. This man showed Naruto a bright blue flower. He then crushed this flower and made an herb that Naruto was forced to drink. "You should feel better very soon." Naruto thanked the man and went back to sleep. The next time, he woke up in the middle of the night and stood up for the first time in months. He felt stronger than he had ever did before, and his body, well, it was different. He slightly gained muscle mass, which was definitely strange for a 5-year-old. Naruto's eyes would turn red with a slit. As Naruto closed his eyes, he stood in silence as he could hear the beat of several hearts from within his chest. In the morning when Hiruzen walked in to check on Naruto, he saw him standing up. Hiruzen would run to Naruto, hugging him, and Naruto vanished from his sight as Naruto smiled and thanked Hiruzen for all he's done, especially for the recent doctor. Hiruzen would just be happy that Naruto is well, but he seems different. Maybe the disease did something to his pupils that was permanent. However, Hiruzen thought nothing of it as he told Naruto to go out and enjoy himself. And this is where I want to make a change to my story. As you all know, Muzan isn't able to go out in the sun like the rest of the demons, but for my story, Naruto will be able to, and this is so he could be stronger than usual. Naruto ran out dashing through the village, and he would go to the ramen shop. After sitting down, he tries to eat the ramen, but he doesn't feel satisfied. Naruto wondered what the problem was, as all day he would then continue exploring the leaf, as not having seen it for so long, he forgot where many of the places were. At night, Naruto would begin to get hungrier, as he would see a drunk man walking around. Naruto, for some reason, approached this man and asked if he needed any help getting to his home. The drunk man would then tell Naruto to piss off and that he's a demon, so he needs to leave the village. Naruto became angry as his eyes began to glow, and then with a swipe of his hands, he cut the man in half. After thinking about what he did, Naruto looked back at the human body and consumed it. Once it was gone, Naruto felt stronger, but his hunger was actually gone as well. Naruto would get the idea that he needs to become Hokage by increasing his strength. So, over the course of 7 years, Naruto would eat villagers at night to increase his strength, and every time he does so, he leans closer and closer until he's fully on the dark side. By the time Naruto was 12, he was insanely powerful, and he actually had a few abilities. Something else Naruto had figured out during the years was that he could turn people into demons like him. So he would do this as well, building an army within the leaf that was hidden by the shadows. And he had complete control over these demons, ruling over them with an iron fist. After easily passing the Genin exams, Naruto went to the Hokage's office. After walking in, Hiruzen would congratulate Naruto after seeing the headband. Naruto walks over to Hiruzen and then cuts the man's neck, as Hiruzen would then begin to turn to a demon that falls to the ground. Good. Now Lord Third, you work for me. Make sure to do as I say, or I'll have to replace you. Hiruzen, who wasn't fully a demon yet, tried to resist the power, but Naruto stepped on his head. Notice how my foot is on your head. You are below me in every way. Clean yourself up before someone else walks in and sees how pathetic you look. Hiruzen stands and bows to Naruto as he would leave the room. As usual, Naruto would be assigned to Team 7 with Sasuke and Sakura. He wouldn't have turned either of them into demons just yet, as he wanted to see if they were a threat to him first. Enter the bell test. When the sensei walked into the classroom, Naruto stared at Kakashi, making him feel uneasy. But he still tells the team to meet him at the rooftop. Kakashi would then say, I want all of you to tell me something about yourself. Your name, a like you have, a dislike, and a dream you have for the future. He points to Naruto first. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like having power over others. I dislike those who don't follow my orders. And my dream for the future? Well, that's really simple. I dream to one day control the entire world. Kakashi and Naruto's other teammates would be cautious of that answer, as it seemed Naruto was power hungry. After the two others would say what they usually say, like in canon, Kakashi tells them to meet up tomorrow morning for the bell test. As Sasuke begins to walk away, he felt a hand on his shoulder as he turned to see a smiling Naruto. You said you want to kill someone, and that requires you to become stronger and gain power, right? Meet me here at nighttime, and I'll give you that strength. Sasuke was confused, but then he thought this may be his opportunity to reach a level of power beyond what he has now. Night would fall, and Sasuke would wait for Naruto to appear. Out of a black smoke, he would show up, surprising the Uchiha. Alright, give me the power, Naruto. First, Sasuke, lower your tone when addressing your master. You'll be the first to have this experiment tried on, so be grateful. So first, Naruto would turn him into a demon, and while he's transforming, Naruto injects Sasuke with some of his own blood. Sasuke would fall to the ground screaming, but this scream was stopped as Naruto ripped out his tongue. He left Sasuke to lay there, and in the morning the team would meet up in the spot, and Naruto would wait for Sasuke, who would wave at him when he arrived. Sasuke would wave back, acting as if nothing happened the day before, and now the group had the test explained to them. After Kakashi says go, the only one to hide would actually be Sakura, as Naruto and Sasuke prepare to face their sensei head-on. Naruto would telepathically tell Sasuke to show him the power that he has now obtained, as Sasuke would then activate a 3 Tomoe Sharingan, shocking Kakashi. Naruto smirked, rushing in. Kakashi blocked the first hit, but the next 3 rapid attacks from Naruto landed on him, and Sasuke would be able to jump into the air using a fireball jutsu. Kakashi is able to counter with his own, but Sasuke did something that shocked Naruto. Sasuke pulled out a sword as he then said, "Blood Demon Art, Cold Flame Manipulation." This is when blue flames surrounded his body and the sword he was holding. Sasuke swung the blade as the flames came off of it, and as Kakashi tried to block them with the mud wall, these flames go straight through it. Kakashi ducks under the blade as it would turn to nothing, while the mud wall would turn to nothing but ash. How did he? Sasuke jumped forward, rapidly swinging the blade, not letting Kakashi finish his thoughts. This taste of power, it felt great. It was something new to Sasuke's life. Naruto was right. This is the power he needs to help him kill his brother. Kakashi would be so wrapped up in dodging Sasuke's blade that he completely forgot about Naruto, as Naruto was trying out his new powers as well. As then, from behind Kakashi, he would hear, "Blood Demon Art, Thread Domain." Suddenly, thin red wires stretched over the area surrounding Kakashi and Sasuke. This way, neither of them could leave. Sasuke kept pressing forward, slicing at Kakashi, who barely dodged. Eventually, Sasuke kept coming faster and faster as he would slice Kakashi in half, but what was in his place was a log, as Naruto turned to Kakashi, who was in a tree, and he held up the bells. "When did you take the bells, Naruto?" "When the test first began, before Sasuke and I rushed in at you." Naruto turned around and began to walk away, as Sasuke would soon follow. As they walked past a bush that Sakura was hiding in, Naruto turned away. "Would you like some power as well?" I don't know." "Ah, what a disappointment. No matter, we will see you tomorrow." Naruto smiled as he and Sasuke vanished from the scene. The next day, the team would do lower ranked missions that proved to be too easy for Sasuke and Naruto. By using their demonic powers and enhanced physical stats, this was easy for them to catch cats and do other easy tasks around the village, helping people. Eventually, Sakura would give in, and after one of their missions, after chasing cats, she would ask Naruto to give her some power as well. And Naruto smiled. "First, you must prove your loyalty to me. Bring me the heads of your parents." "What?" "If you do that, then I'll grant you power." At nighttime, Sakura would wait until her parents were asleep, and then she stood over them. She then heard a voice. "Go ahead. If you really want my power, finish them off and prove your loyalty to me." Sakura turned her head, looking at Naruto. "How did you get in my house?" "Don't worry about that. Have you made your decision yet? I do hate waiting." Naruto handed her a sword, as she then paused until Naruto said, "If you gain my power, you'll be more like Sasuke, and if you become stronger, you may even have a future with him." Sakura thought about a life with Sasuke, as she would then kill her parents. Tears slowly ran down her face as it reflected off of the moonlight. She began to fall over as she was cut on her neck by Naruto and had his blood injected into her. Naruto smiled, disappearing from the house and into the night. The next day, the team would meet up, and Sasuke could tell that Sakura had become a demon. By now, half of the leaf was actually demons, but they were able to stay alive by only consuming small portions of humans, such as limbs that they could keep alive, keep themselves alive with, for several days. Enter the Land of Waves. Team 7 would tell their sensei that they want a harder mission. Naruto exclaims that these low-ranked missions are a waste of the team's skill. Seeing as they are the strongest Genin team, they should take the strongest missions. And Naruto would send a telepathic message to Hiruzen to have it ready in 30 minutes, cause that's when they'll be there. When Team 7 arrived at the Hokage's office, Tazuna was already standing there. Hiruzen explained the bridge builder mission, and Tazuna was actually scared of the team, as they radiated a demonic pressure. So, he wouldn't speak out of turn. The team would leave that morning, so this way, they could get an earlier start. Naruto walks behind them, and as he steps on a puddle on the ground, in this moment he pauses as two people jump from the puddles attacking Naruto. They would try to cut Naruto, they wouldn't try. They would cut off both of Naruto's arms, causing Team 7 to turn around. Mentally, Naruto told Sasuke and Sakura to kill one of them and capture the other. Sakura looks at Sasuke, as she would then say, "Blood Demon Art, Corrosive vines. Vines would come out of the ground and Sasuke jumps on them, pushing forward. He pulls out his blade as blue flames begin to come off of it, and Sasuke slashes through one of the ninja, incinerating his body, while the other stands in fear, as Naruto appears to him. His arms were already grown back through his regeneration. Well now, you are strong, so let's try this. The ninja fell to the ground as his body felt unbelievably heavy. Naruto stepped on his head, crushing his face into the ground. There, much better now. Explain why you are here. The ninja stayed silent, causing Naruto to crush his head. I hate people like that. They can never answer me fast enough. You too. Sakura and Sasuke bow to Naruto. Easy up. Great work. Just a little faster next time. They both sigh of relief until Naruto enters their minds. Don't let this happen again, or I'll get rid of both of you. Naruto walks past them and smiles as he walks to Tazuna. Do you know why they were attacking us? I don't have to answer to you. You are just a... He was cut off as Naruto kicked his chest. He had to hold back a lot not to kick the men in half, but as Tazuna fell to the ground, he saw a cold smile coming off of Naruto's face. I'll ask again, why were we attacked? Tazuna didn't want to answer, so Naruto cut off his arm. The man screamed in pain while Naruto began to torture him. Kakashi would run in that direction to try to stop Naruto until Sasuke and Sakura stood in his way. Move, you two. We can't, Kakashi. Sasuke pulls out his blade as Sakura prepares her vines. Naruto would read Tazuna's mind, getting the information himself, and he would heal the man's arm. After that, he tells Sakura and Sasuke to stand down. The team continued on, taking a boat to the land of waves. After getting off of the boat, Naruto can sense a presence up ahead as he starts to walk in front of everyone. This is when the sword would come flying at the group, and Naruto was cut in half, falling to the ground, and Sakura and Sasuke would get scared, thinking that Naruto would do something to them, but he only regenerated with a smile. You all can take a break. I want this one to myself. Zabuza appeared and saw Naruto, who was walking towards him. A brat, huh? This'll be easy. Zabuza threw kunai at Naruto, and this kunai was sliced in half by just Naruto's gaze alone. Blood Demon Art. Razor Glare. Naruto with just one look was able to cut off one of Zabuza's arms as he would grab it, not knowing what just happened. He then felt his other arm being held. When did you? A loud crack was followed by a scream from Zabuza. When Team 7 looks, they see a smiling Naruto while Zabuza has a broken arm and one arm that's gone. You bore me, but this was fun to let loose a little bit. I was quite angry. Blood Demon Art. Razor Glare. Zabuza watched as the ground in front of him was split until this happened to him as well. Within only minutes, Naruto made Zabuza seem like trash as he was dealt with no fight against Naruto. Naruto then walked up to the split body of Zabuza, and then he caused dirt on the ground to cover the area, blinding everyone from his view, as he feasted on the man's body, curing his hunger. He left no evidence of it being there, and after all of this, Kakashi didn't know what to do with Naruto. He was too strong to fight, and he had allies, strong ones at that. The team would continue on to reach the house of Tazuna, and Naruto takes his team out to train their blood demon arts. Once they reach a secluded area, Naruto orders them to attack him. Sasuke jumps in with his demonic blade with blue flames. He slashed at Naruto, who ducked under, landing an uppercut to Sasuke's chin. As he was sent through the air, he was caught by vines. Thanks, Sakura. Let's try again. Right. Sakura used the vines to grab Naruto's legs and hold him still, and Sasuke yells out, Blood Demon Art. Cold Flame Combustion. Sasuke's blade exploded as it made contact with Naruto. Sasuke lands back next to Sakura as she would commend him for his efforts, but it definitely wasn't enough. And just as she had finished her sentence, her arm was cut off. Sasuke looks back at Naruto, who had transformed his body. Naruto's body now had 2 extra arms. No more blood demon arts. Now only taijutsu. Naruto appeared in front of Sasuke as he prepared to punch, but Sasuke would prepare to block. But Naruto used all 4 of his arms to send Sasuke through trees. Sakura tried to kick Naruto's neck from behind him, but he grabbed her leg, slamming her into the ground, cracking it. Sakura coughed up blood from the attack, but Sasuke would reappear in the air right in front of Naruto. With both of his hands, he grabbed Naruto by his head, slamming his knee into Naruto's face. Naruto's expression would stay the same as he stabbed Sasuke through his chest with both hands, and then he drops him to the ground. That's enough. You two are free for the rest of the day. I'm going out. Sasuke lays on the ground as holes in his chest begin to close, regenerating. The next morning, the team heads to the bridge where they would see a masked man in their way. Naruto gets excited, but Kakashi rushed past him, saying that this was now his fight, using a lightning blade. Before Kakashi could even land the attack, Naruto stepped in front of the masked man. You seem to have forgotten your place, human. Sakura would wrap vines around Kakashi's arms and legs, and Kakashi tried to break out of these vines, but they wouldn't budge, as this is when he felt a blade to his throat. Kakashi looked down to see Sasuke. Don't struggle, Kakashi, or I'll be forced to kill you. Sasuke. Sakura. Why do you let Naruto command you like puppets? Kakashi. Remember when we first met and you asked all of us about our dreams for the future? Naruto has given us the chance to achieve these dreams, so now we must help him achieve his own. Kakashi tilted his head back to Naruto as he was standing face to face with the masked man. Where is Zabuza? Who? Oh, the ninja who attacked us a couple days ago. Well, I got rid of him. He no longer exists, but I can help you meet him again if you want. Ice spikes then go through Naruto's body as he coughs up a little blood, smiling. You have such a unique ability, but I think I want it for my own. As Naruto would then grab Haku's mask, breaking it, and after that, he puts his hands on Haku's chest. Blood demon art. Corruption. Haku's body then begins to get absorbed by Naruto, and this was done until he was completely gone. After this was done, Gato and his men would appear on the bridge. Perfect timing. Naruto turned his face to the bandits. Blood demon art. Snowfall. Ice would then shoot into the sky above the men as it would explode, and snowflakes began to fall on them. As they were touched by the snowflakes, they were covered in ice that freezes them in place. Naruto waves his hand in a swaying motion, and then he crushed his fist. This caused all the frozen bandits to shatter into small pieces that were no longer visible. Naruto looks back at Sakura and Sasuke, as he would then say, "Let's return to the Leaf. We've finished our mission." Tazuna will argue that they haven't built the bridge yet, but Naruto glares at him, as Tazuna will bow, telling him that he's thankful. After this, the group begins to head back to their home within the Leaf Village. Enter the Chunin exams. After returning to the Leaf, Naruto goes off on his own. He goes to see Hiruzen by himself and would ask the Lord Third about his origins. Hiruzen, not being able to lie to Naruto, would of course tell him about the 4th Hokage and his wife, Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto nodded, leaving the room and telling Hiruzen that he'll be back later. The next day, Kakashi has his team meet up and discuss the exams. Sasuke and Sakura would actually want to do it, and Naruto paused in thought. He thought of how it could benefit him first. Maybe he could gain more demons in his ranks. And then he thought about how it wouldn't benefit him. The only downside he could see would be it being a waste of time, but he didn't really care, as he had plenty of time to finish what he wanted to do. Naruto agreed, and Sasuke and Sakura were happy about it. As Kakashi would give them the papers, he would be cautious and actually report Naruto's actions to the Hokage. Hiruzen, though, being controlled by Naruto, would just give an excuse for Naruto. But that night in the woods, Sasuke and Sakura would meet up with Naruto. You two have been quite useful to me, so as a reward, I'll be increasing your powers. Be grateful, and use it to benefit me tomorrow. The two bow as Naruto injects more of his blood into them, and they fall to the ground in pain as Naruto would disappear. The next day, Team 7 heads to the testing room, and Naruto waits on his other two teammates to appear as he feels a cold presence coming towards him. Nonchalantly, he turns his head seeing Sasuke and Sakura. He knew they would be stronger, but he didn't know that they would become this strong. They kneel to Naruto, apologizing for being late, and Naruto forgives them, as he did give them a lot of his blood. The three walk through the halls until Naruto noticed someone approaching them. Quickly, Sasuke jumps in the way, blocking a punch for him, as it was from Rock Lee, who they didn't know his name yet, but Naruto could tell that he was somewhat strong, as he stared at him using a technique that allowed him to see through a person's body. Naruto saw that his chakra pool was very small. Naruto took note of this for the future just in case he could turn Lee into a demon. Sasuke stood in front of Naruto, telling the stranger that if he wants to fight him, he'll have to go through Sasuke first. Rock Lee then gets in a fighting stance while Sasuke closes his eyes. He opens them as the pattern he had from before would have changed, as receiving more blood from Naruto enhanced his dojutsu to the Mangekyo stage. And I'll be keeping his abilities the same, so don't worry about that, as Sasuke's sword would also transform, covered in a Susanoo armor. Rock Lee could feel the pressure coming off of Sasuke and was prepared to open a gate, as the two were then interrupted by a turtle. Naruto stared at the turtle until it transformed into a man who looked just like Rock Lee. And this man would scold Rock Lee for trying to show off in the first part of the exams. Naruto looks at the man and with one punch sends him into a wall. Might Guy gets up ready to fight Naruto, but then he feels it. This pressure, it's coming off of Naruto. It's the aura of someone who knows he can kill. Someone who's going for the kill. Might Guy backs off, not wanting to cause any trouble, and Naruto will walk away. The first part of the exams would go as usual with the passing participants, and now we are at the Forest of Death. The rules are explained, and the teams begin heading inside. Naruto and his team go inside as they wait up in a tree for another team to come by. Once another team does appear, Naruto planned to not only take their scroll, but turn them into demons. As they would wait, they could feel someone approaching them. Naruto looks up to a higher branch to see a pale man who jumps down to the one that Naruto and his team were on, and he would actually kneel in front of Naruto. "Why are you kneeling? I do not have control over you. I've been watching you for quite a while, Naruto Uzumaki, and I'd like to join you." "Is that so? What do I get in return?" "Well, of course you would get a loyal subject who can do demonic research for you on your behalf." Naruto opened his eyes, sitting up as he was laying down before. "I'll agree on one condition. The condition that you remember your place, and if you speak my name without me being present, you must kill yourself." Orochimaru nods, and is turned into a demon by Naruto. After that, he leaves the area giving Team 7 the scroll that he had. Sasuke and Sakura would ask Naruto what he wants to do, and if he wants to start heading to the tower, but Naruto tells him that they can go ahead or have fun. He'll catch up to them later as he doesn't care. Right now, he wants to find a few people and turn them into demons. Sasuke and Sakura nod, running in the opposite direction of Naruto, who went a different way. After running to the other side of the forest, Naruto finds who he was looking for. He finds Team Guy, and specifically Rock Lee. He orders the group to fight them, and he does. He defeats them all with ease, but then he sits down. He asks them, "What do you all desire? You there, you look anxious about something." Neji would talk about his clan, and Naruto walked over to him, calling him weak, and then he held Neji up by his shirt, lifting him into the air. "Don't you want power?" Neji would nod, and Naruto puts him down. "What about you? Don't you wish you could use chakra?" Lee would think about it, and then he declines. Naruto sighs, grabbing him and launching him far away from the rest. Naruto hands Neji a kunai, and then he says, "Prove your loyalty to me and kill her. If you can do that, then I'll grant you power." Neji thought about how he could change his clan, and he was determined to do so as he began walking towards Tenten, who was too scared to move. Neji held the kunai up to her throat, but then he stopped himself. He couldn't just kill his teammate. Naruto sighed. "I thought you could be different, but you proved to be the same, just as all the rest of these humans. You let your emotions dictate your actions, and that is what makes you weak. You'll never gain true strength like that." Naruto killed both Neji and Tenten as he leaves the area, catching up with his team as they would head into the tower. Once they were there, the preliminary matches would be announced, and Naruto sits down with Sakura to watch Sasuke's fight. Sasuke wants to try a new ability, so when his fight does start, he changes his eyes, activating his Mangekyo. He would use his flame control to form an arrow of black and blue flames, as he would shoot it right through his opponent, killing him with just one blow. Sasuke walked back up the wall and sat down next to Naruto. The next fights go the same, with Tenten and Neji being replaced by filler characters, and we skip to Sakura versus Ino, and this is where she decides that she wants to show off. Since Sasuke's eyes were upgraded because of Naruto's blood, I also think that Sakura's Blood Demon art would also be upgraded, as Sakura starts to fight by forming a forest of vines that cover the whole arena. Ino looks around, not being able to see Sakura. Suddenly though, she was hit by a punch, and after that, she felt thorns poking into her body. She looked down, pulling the thorns out of her legs. As she looked at them, she noticed something was coming off the tip of them. It was poison. And then her legs began to swell up. Because of this poison, she could no longer stand, and Sakura appeared right in front of her as she begged for mercy. The pink-haired girl thought about all the times that Ino would brag to her, and now this was her chance, as she began to taunt Ino on how weak she truly was. And with one kick across her face, Ino was knocked out by Sakura, and then the vines would disappear, as the next fight would be Naruto versus Kiba. Naruto could already tell how weak Kiba was, so he wanted to do some experiments as well. He did notice the dog that Kiba kept by his side, so Naruto wanted to see what would happen if this dog was also turned to a demon. So during the fight, Naruto would dodge their attacks while attacking and talking to Kiba. Kiba wouldn't give in to Naruto's plan, calling him crazy, but Naruto would do it anyway, as the blonde-haired boy's nails become sharp, cutting the dog on its side, and in response it falls over. Kiba, thinking his partner was dead, rushed at Naruto in a blind rage. This made his movements become less accurate and more wild-like, as Naruto was able to grab Kiba by his arm, slamming him into the ground. The whole arena shook at Naruto's strength. He stood up, looking over the dog, who had turned red, as Naruto smiled as the dog now followed him. The rest of the exam goes the same, and Naruto pays attention to the fight versus Naruto. Well, not Naruto. He pays attention to the fight of Lee versus Gaara, as Gaara is his next target to give some of his blood. The remaining participants will be given time to train until the final battles, and for the whole month, Naruto trains with Sasuke and Sakura, while also meeting with Orochimaru. The Sannin did figure out how to clone demons within his laboratory and showed Naruto. These clones were very loyal, but they were very weak. Disposable pawns for Naruto's grand scheme. Within the month's time, and visits with Orochimaru, he figured out how to undo the seal with the nine-tailed fox. And since tailed beasts are completely made up of chakra, I don't believe Naruto could turn Kurama into a demon. But that didn't matter, as Naruto's strength far exceeded these limits. We go back to the Chunin exams where Naruto would go against a filler character that defeated, well, that took Neji's place. This was due to his death, of course, and after easily defeating him, Sasuke would go on to fight Gaara. The match starts, and immediately Sasuke takes the offensive, swinging his blades at Gaara. The Sand Jinchuriki is able to block and counter, trying to grab Sasuke with his sand. Sasuke, though, vanished, reappearing behind Gaara as he stabbed through his shoulder with his blade. Ripping it out and creating distance, he landed with grace. He looks back up to see Gaara screaming. Feathers then begin to fall from the sky as the sand would then begin their attack, but thanks to Naruto, the sound doesn't participate. Naruto looks over at Sakura, telling her to do as she pleased. Naruto saw Sasuke chasing Gaara and he ordered him to stop. Naruto wanted to do this himself, as Sasuke nodded, heading back to the leaf, while Naruto hunted Gaara. Eventually he would catch up to him, and sand is sent at Naruto, but it does nothing, as Naruto is able to vibrate his body at such a speed that he becomes intangible, walking through the sand. He gets face to face with Gaara and then stabs him through the chest with his hand. Soon after, he slashed his chest with his claws. As Gaara began to transform into a demon, he heard the words of Naruto, "Don't disobey me, and I'll treat you kindly." Gaara then felt a needle in his neck as Naruto injected him with some of his own blood. And from all of this happening at once, Gaara's body is sent into shock, causing him to pass out. Naruto looks back at Temari and Kankuro, who just arrived after all of this had just went down. They saw Gaara on the ground with blood around him, and they prepared to fight Naruto, but the boy walked past them laughing, as he then said, "Don't worry about me. Focus on your friend over there, as he will soon change." Naruto teleports back to the battlefield, walking through. He uses his control over the demons within the leaf to get rid of the Sand Ninja, and with no Orochimaru and a stronger Hiruzen, the battle was over quick. And once the battle was over, Naruto forced Hiruzen to promote his team to the rank of Chunin. And now, since Orochimaru was back on the Leaf sides, we don't have the Tsunade arc or the Sasuke retrieval arc. So the best place for our story to continue on is the time skip. Enter Shippuden. To start off Shippuden, we wouldn't actually start with Naruto's perspective. Let's go over to the Sand Village. Over the years, Gaara, under Naruto's control, had turned most of his village into demons, meaning that these demons were also under Naruto's control. As two people would sneak into the sand, Gaara was alerted, as he sent out a mental message to Naruto letting him know that he was being attacked. There was no response. So Gaara took things into his own hands, engaging into this battle. He sent out his sand siblings that had also become demons. Temari and Kankuro stopped the two Akatsuki right in front of the village gate, as Temari sent out strong winds that blasted both of them back. While she did this, Kankuro used multiple puppets for close range attacks. Sasori countered Kankuro by using 100 puppets of his own. These puppets cut Kankuro in his chest and his most vital organs, but since he was a demon, Kankuro was able to quickly regenerate these wounds. Deidara by now would use his clay bird and fly into the sky. While he was airborne, he was dropping clay bombs down on Temari, who would block with her fan. More strong winds are sent up at Deidara as he's knocked off the bird. He begins to fall, but then he's caught by something. He holds out his hand to notice that he was caught by sand. And then, Temari turns around to see Gaara. Gaara crushes Deidara within the sand hand, and then, with his sand, he uses a blood demon art, as he would say. Blood demon art. Black sand. Gaara sent out this sand at the puppets that were attacking Kankuro, and this sand has the ability to absorb chakra and life force. So, since it was used on a non-living object, it was only able to absorb chakra from it and destroys the puppets. Gaara sent out a report to Naruto, but this time there was a response. Gaara fell to his knees as blood began to pour out of different parts of his body, and it was hard for him to breathe as he grabbed his throat. "You dare interrupt my business, Gaara? Have you forgotten your place? There is no need to report your mission if I can inherit your memories and see through you. Now, if you do this again, I'll make sure to make a personal trip to the sand and destroy it. So watch your actions from now on." Naruto leaves Gaara's mind as his sand Jinchuriki falls over in lots of pain. It was insane how Naruto could cause this much damage by not even being near Gaara. Usually, right here is where a bunch of canon events would happen, but I'll just be writing the story in my own way. We travel back to the Leaf, where we would see something completely different. The Leaf Village was bigger, as it seemed to be more alive, as under Naruto's control, it had prospered. In a training facility, we see Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. And let's talk about strength right now. Every once in a while, Naruto did inject both of them with his own blood. Eventually, this causes another evolution within Sasuke's eyes, as they would turn purple, meaning that he now has the Rinnegan. Naruto would have also killed Kakashi and stolen his Sharingan, taking it for his own. And he did this so that he could become stronger himself. And since he didn't know how to manipulate his own DNA, he could use his Sharingan basically like an Uchiha, especially since he had the help of Orochimaru. Speaking of the Sannin, he would have continued his research for Naruto, using the demon clones that he had created to revive Kekkei Genkai, meaning things like Ice Release, Lava Release, Scorch Release, and even Wood Release, one of the rarest ones of all, were revived through his research with the clones. The Leaf was of course the strongest it's ever been, and they did outclass every other village in every other aspect of power and wealth. Even their resources were increasing. Back with Team 7, Naruto kept his Sharingan at the Mangekyo stage because he didn't really want a Rinnegan. He saw it as, well, useless to him, as he had more important abilities that he could use, and he did quite enjoy the Kamui ability, but he did wish he could use it at a closer range. Naruto knew that Kakashi was given this eye since he was an Uchiha, but he didn't know who had the other one, or if this person was even alive. Truly, he wasn't too worried about it, but it was a thought that lingered in the back of his mind from time to time. Naruto would stop the training between the three, and he tells them that he's going out to take care of some business, as he would then leave the facility and Sasuke appears in front of him on one knee. "Lord Naruto, may I be granted the permission to leave the village to finally kill my brother." Naruto chuckles. "Oh yes, that. I forgot. Go ahead, I do not care, but there is a time limit. You have 2 months to complete this mission and come back. If you cannot do that, then I will dispose of you. Sakura, you go as well to accompany him to make sure he doesn't get into too much trouble. I see no point for only one of you to leave. With all that being said, since your brother is in the Akatsuki, bring me back some valuable information." Naruto then closes the door to the facility and walks through the Leaf. Many people wave and shout his name, as he is regarded as a savior of the Leaf. He put them back in a period such as the Golden Age. Naruto walks all the way to the Nara clan compound and to Shikamaru's household. He asks the teen if he has time to talk. Shikamaru, who wasn't a demon yet, feels the pressure that Naruto immense, and it would be foolish for him to say no, as Shikamaru would go out with Naruto, who explains how he can give him power. He knows how Shikamaru isn't really, well, the outgoing type. He's more lazy and laid back, but his strategy is unmatched. So, this power could solve his problems, and Naruto wants his strategy as well. Being a demon could do so much for him. Shikamaru paused for a moment, but he would agree, and Naruto turns him into a demon and injects him with some of his blood. Only a little sample though, because he knew Shikamaru wasn't a true fighter. Naruto vanished from the area and goes to a large 2-story building in which he lives in. Okay, wait, let's take a quick pause because I forgot to mention something that's pretty important. You guys might be wondering why the Leaf still does have regular humans if demons need to eat them to survive. Orochimaru, over the timescape, would have also created a food source for demons that wasn't human flesh. Okay, back to the story. Naruto walks into his home sitting down. He lays out a map of the ninja world, and it has large symbols that he places on the Leaf, Sand, and Sound villages, meaning he has control over these territories. Naruto wonders what he wants to do now. He could easily take over the other villages by transforming their leader into demons, or he could go the fun route, which I'll be taking the story. Naruto formulates a basic plan to wage war on each village, and after Shikamaru is fully awakened, he hands the map over, telling Shikamaru to create an in-depth battle strategy for each village. Naruto has been itching for battles, and I feel like this will be his best chance, but I also feel like we should cover what Sasuke and Sakura are doing, as it is important to their story as well. Enter the hunt for Itachi. After leaving the Leaf Village, the two head out to find any leads on the Akatsuki. The first place they would head is in the Land of Fire, where a small town was being attacked. When they arrive, they see that the attackers were wearing Akatsuki robes. This gets Sasuke's blood boiling, but Sasuke reminds him that Naruto also wants information, and Sasuke nods as the two would then jump down. Sasuke points a blade at Hidan. Where is Itachi? So that's what you want? How about this, kid? If you can beat me. Sasuke smirks as he activated his Rinnegan, shocking Hidan, the same eyes as our leader. Sasuke covered his blade in the Susanoo cloak, swinging it at Hidan. The Akatsuki member tried to block the blade, but Sasuke himself and his blade were too strong as Sasuke cut through Hidan and his scythe, slicing him in half. But it was shown that Hidan couldn't die as he would stab Sasuke through his chest, causing the boy to laugh. We have more in common than you'd think. However, I've gained a power far above any human. Sasuke uses Rinnegan to snatch Hidan's soul while also reading his memory. After he's done, he gets the location of Itachi, or his last known one. He would send the information back to Naruto, and Sakura would be fighting Kakuzu. As she was able to dodge all of his attacks, the problem with Kakuzu fighting Sakura is that her vines move too quick for him to dodge or stop, and the poison she uses could only be cured by her. Sakura jumped into the air as she said, "The fight ends here," as Sakura launches vines that turn into ice, stabbing through Kakuzu while freezing him at the same time. This was thanks to Orochimaru that she could do this, as she walks over to the ice statue and punches it, and the ice shatters, killing Kakuzu. Sasuke tells her that he learned where his brother is, and they need to go there now. When they got close, they saw Kisame, who told Sakura that she couldn't go through, but he did allow Sasuke to pass, as Sasuke nodded, going on while Sakura sat down and waited. The young Uchiha entered the hideout, seeing his brother who was sitting on a throne, as Sasuke would then activate his Mangekyo Sharingan. Itachi was surprised at the power that Sasuke already had. What happened in the leaf to help Sasuke gain this type of power? Itachi tells himself that he figured it out later, and the battle starts, with Sasuke holding back a lot to gauge his brother's strength. He would quickly figure out that he's much stronger than Itachi. Itachi would use a fireball jutsu, and Sasuke does the same, except for his flames are now permanently blue, and these blue flames consume Itachi's fireball and land a direct hit on him. Itachi recovered, throwing a shuriken, but Sasuke cut through each of them. Sasuke covers his blade in a Mataratsu, swinging it at his brother, and there's only one way for Itachi to block this type of attack. Sasuke knows it, so, in response, Itachi activated his Susanoo. Sasuke smiled as he was waiting for this moment, as Sasuke would do the same, but by now, he had a full-body Susanoo, as he then stomped on Itachi, crushing him below his feet. When he looked down, he saw his defeated brother laying there, as he would get rid of his Susanoo, walking up to him. Sasuke stood over his brother with tears in his eyes. "You've done so much to hurt me, and our family. This is the end for you, Itachi." Itachi looked up at his brother, and his vision was very blurry, making it hard for him to see. But he smiled anyway, as Sasuke stabbed through the chest of Itachi with his blade. When Sasuke looked up at the sky, it began to rain, and he noted how cold this rain felt, as it reminded him of the day of everything, well, the day that everything changed. But, thanks to Naruto, he had finally gotten his revenge. His clan could now rest in peace. As Sasuke enjoyed the victory of this battle, someone began to walk towards him. Sasuke turned his head, seeing a masked man with a Sharingan. All the way back in the leaf, Naruto felt this as well, as he knew what it was after doing lots of research within the Hokage's office. Suddenly, from Sasuke's shadow, Naruto jumped out of it, ripping the eye from the masked man. He implanted it into his own and smiled. "Isn't that funny how I could feel your presence all the way from the leaf, Obito Uchiha? I admit it did take some time to figure out who you were, but after lots of careful thinking, there was nothing more easier than that." Obito, well, he held his face as the pain from Naruto's attack did hurt him, and now Naruto had both of his Sharingan. He was strong, and there was nothing he could do about it. Luckily for him, he did have a backup plan, as now Kisame and Black Zetsu would come on the scene. This allowed Obito to get away, but Naruto let him run. He found the game of cat and mouse quite enjoyable, actually. Naruto would look at Sasuke. "You can rest for a little bit. I'd like to see what both of these eyes can do." Sasuke wouldn't care as he sits down, and Kisame swings his blade, but it goes right through Naruto, who grabs his face, crushing it. Naruto then looks at Black Zetsu. "You are not a human at all. So what are you?" The creature rushes at Naruto, who dodged, cutting his neck. Let's see. Black Zetsu, though, wouldn't turn into a demon, so Naruto froze it in ice. "Sasuke, dispose of it for me. I have work I need to finish back within the leaf." As Naruto vanished into the Kamui dimension, returning to the Leaf Village. Enter the Fourth Great Shinobi War. A couple of weeks go by, and during this time, Naruto and Shikamaru finished up their strategies, so now the Leaf will be gathering supplies for the upcoming war. One day though, as Naruto was inside of his home, he could sense someone above the Leaf Village. He looks out of his window to see a man with orange hair floating. Naruto used Kamui to transport himself and this man into the dimension. "The leader of the Akatsuki, Pain, and I see you possess the same eyes as my comrade. Well, that's worse for you because I already know all of your abilities. And you are not an Uchiha, so where did you get these eyes? An interesting person indeed. So why did you come to my village?" "I came to take the Nine Tails and create peace over the world." Naruto laughed. "You and I have very different goals. While you strive for peace, I strive for war. I want to dominate every other village. I want to kill those who oppose me. The battlefield is the utmost proper sanctuary or heaven for a shinobi like me. So what do you say? How about you join my side, and I'll give you peace after my war?" The Diva Path and Nagato paused for a moment, which annoyed Naruto as he slammed the head of the path into the ground, stomping on it. "I hate waiting." "Oh? What's this?" Naruto looks down at the Path of Pain, noticing how hollow it was. "So you were a puppet after all. Okay then, let the hunt begin." Naruto teleported out of the Kamui dimension and left the Leaf Village. Using his knowledge of the terrain, he was able to find Nagato within minutes using his crazy speed. Konan stood in front of Nagato, but then she was frozen by ice. "Now, I'll ask again. Will you join me? I could even repair the body that you have now." Nagato, seeing no other way to find peace, would agree. And after he does, he and Konan are turned into demons, but Naruto injects Nagato with some of his blood, making him one of his elite. And now that we're actually on the subject, this will actually be a really good part to explain Naruto's elite team of demon generals, or his upper moons. So first, of course we have Sasuke, the strongest, and then Nagato. After him would be Orochimaru, and then Sakura. And lastly, we have Shikamaru, who was just there for mainly strategy. Naruto warps them back to the village using Kamui, and then the preparation for war would continue. And since the Akatsuki are basically out of the way now, there was a certain point of peace within the world, but Naruto didn't want that just yet. He wanted control of everything, and this world was his for the taking, and he knew it. Months go by, and nothing happens. As we skip to the first day of the war, the Stone Village was doing their usual day-to-day, but one of the ninjas reported a large army heading their way. Anoki, the Kage of the village, floated into the air to do some scouting. What he saw was truly terrifying, as an army of about 6,000 Leaf Ninja, Leaf, Sand, Sound, and Rain Shinobi, being followed by the Nine Tails and the One Tails, and on top of that, a full-body Susanoo. Because of his new Sharingan, Naruto was able to control the tail beast with ease. As Naruto walks in front of everyone, he goes to see the floating man, cause he caught his attention. Naruto sat down and asked, "What would you like us to do? Would you like your village to be destroyed, your resources taken, or the people killed?" Inoki didn't know what to say. A mere child was asking him a question about things that were so important. Did the fate of his village really rely on these brats' words? This would annoy Naruto, who could read minds. "So I am a brat in your eyes. Okay then, I'll show you how much of a brat I can be." Naruto warps himself and Inoki into the Kamui dimension. Using a new ability he had gained, he chained up the old man, and then he said, "I'll let you watch as your village is destroyed." Naruto opens a portal so that Inoki could watch. The army presses forward, with Nagato and Sasuke going in first. Sasuke swung his sword to slice houses in half, while Nagato blew away mountains surrounding the village. Sakura would use her vines to create underground pathways for the army to continue on from below, and Orochimaru uses clones that had wood release to make bridges onto the village. Inoki began to cry, watching innocents be killed and slaughtered. "This could all be stopped by you. All you have to do is become my pet." "Never. That is beneath me as a Kage." Naruto smiled as he would then say, "Go ahead, you two." Inoki is then shown two tailed beasts, as it was the One Tails and the Nine Tails, as they began charging up attacks. Inoki knew these attacks would destroy his village, so as they were about to get launched, he gave in. Everything stood silent as they stopped. Naruto warped them back to the battlefield, and he held the old man up by his collar. "Go ahead, tell them." "We surrender." "Good, now that wasn't so hard, and as a reward, I'll make you a demon." Naruto cuts his neck, dropping the man to the ground. "Everyone, we're leaving to the next place, which is the Cloud." Another month would go by, and the Cloud was actually prepared to do this fight, as they had an army of about 1,000, which included Genin as well, and they had Killer Bee and the Eight Tails ready as well. Their Raikage was even prepared to fight. They stood far from the Cloud on the border of the Land of Lightning, and as they sat, many talked about the upcoming war or the battle that was approaching, and on who was leading the Leaf. Did they have a new Kage who had gone wild, and how did they become so strong? As the Raikage sat in thought in front of a campfire, he heard an unfamiliar voice. "Well, hello there. The name's Naruto, and I'm essentially the god of this world. So, I assume you are the one in charge here? I'll let you pick. Would you rather your village turn to rubble or ashes? Because we can do both." The Raikage looked up and was confused, as the guards would now surround Naruto. He makes a portal so they can see what he meant. Around the Cloud stood Naruto's entire army, meaning that they had went all the way around the Cloud army to get to the village. Naruto was the only one here to face the Cloud head on. The Raikage tries to hit Naruto in anger, but his fist goes right through him. Not the answer I was expecting or looking for, but I'll ask another question. Where's your tail beast? You guys possess, I believe, the Eight Tails if I'm not mistaken. Everyone stays silent, and Naruto begins to laugh, eating some of the food that they had prepared. You all are very serious. Have some fun once in a while. It's not every day a war happens, you know? If I'm being serious, I came here to fight by myself, but you guys aren't making this as fun as I thought. You're actually making this quite enjoyable. You're much more entertaining than a fight. It seems your strongest fighter is right there. Naruto then points at Killer Bee, who is frozen in ice. The Raikage was confused. When did he? And how did he? Well, I'm done joking around. Time to get back to business. Blood demon art. Demonic threads. Red lines that appear all over the area as each of them is right in front of a person's throat. If one of you moves, you'll all die. And if I close my hand, you'll die. Any movements or any weird patterns of breath like you're preparing an attack, I'll kill everyone standing here. So, what would you like to do? Surrender or perish? The Raikage, stubborn as ever, would say, I'd like a one-on-one fight for my village and its citizens. You are a very interesting man. A fight between me and you is hardly fair, so how about I hold back a little and don't use any of my abilities? Deal. The two would then get ready as the Raikage activated his lightning chakra mode. Naruto appeared behind him, kicking the man in the back of the neck so that he fell to the ground. The Raikage got up and he tried to hit Naruto, as the attack did land, but it broke the man's hand. Naruto's body was quite durable, and after this, Naruto grabbed him by his beard and hit him with an uppercut that knocked him in the trees. The man laid on his back and then had his ribs crushed by Naruto's foot. Coughing up blood, he tried to speak, but Naruto couldn't hear him, so he stepped on his ribcage harder, cracking it some more. You really are something, you know that? All that big talk and you can't even hold a candle to my power. But at least you taught me something. So, how about I kill you with your own ability? Suddenly, Naruto's body was surrounded by lightning, but this lightning was black and red instead of blue, and with one punch he killed the Raikage. Naruto turns to all the ninja there with a sadistic smile. Who's next? Naruto rushed them faster than ever before, ripping them to shreds. He jumps on one ninja, cutting him in half while holding another. As someone would try to stab Naruto with a sword, he turned, blocking the attack with someone's body. Naruto then kicked them both away and prepared a final attack. If any of you manage to survive this attack, I'll let you live. Blood Demon Art. Gravity Manipulation. They all fell to the ground, being crushed by this ability. The Cloud Ninja began sinking lower and lower into the surface of the earth until they couldn't be seen anymore. Naruto released the ability and then walked over to the frozen Jinchuriki. Give me this. Naruto extracted the Eight Tails killing bee and putting it under his control. He sent out a mental message to his army that they are moving out, and they have one more stop and that's it. Then this will all be over. Weeks later at the Mist Village, Naruto was seen walking around as he was captured and taken to the Mizukage. Naruto smiled. What a pretty woman. I might just spare the village because of that. Back to business though. Naruto would break the chains that were on him. Naruto would then speak. I never meant to spare this tiny island at all. I just wanted to see your face as it's destroyed. Naruto points out of the window to show tail beast bombs heading right for them. Naruto smirks as the whole island is then blown off the map, and all the army could see was Naruto standing in water. Naruto begins to walk back to the army, wondering what he's going to do now. But he decides to revolutionize the world, as this world is truly amazing, he says, and I shall shape it to my own image. And this is where I want to end this movie. This was a super long video and it took me a long time to write, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys liked the video for me and subscribe to my channel if you're new. If you have any other movie ideas, put them down in the comments and I'll try to get to them. I really enjoyed writing this one as I had a lot of creativity going into it, and I'm so hyped for the new season of Demon Slayer that's out. Well, this is Zero, and I'll catch you all on the next one.